collaborative creatives. A space for all creatives to listen, feel heard, and be uplifted. And I'm your host, Abigail Alexis. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I got myself some coffee, so jump into it. So I'm Abigail. If you don't mind introducing yourself to us.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Ashley. I own and do hair and makeup for Avowtoartistry, and I created the Adventure Elopement package for hairstyling and makeup anywhere and everywhere.
So could you tell us a little bit more of what that Adventure Elopement package looks like? Like, not many hair and makeup artists do that. So what does that look like for you?
So I'm already a really big hiker and have been in the industry for a very long time now. So when I saw the Adventure Elopements, I just got really excited, and I wanted to be able to figure out how to, assist my couples during their hike, because we get sweaty. Sometimes it rains on us. The wind in Colorado is always something. So I really started it with the idea of assistance, and then as it grew, I found cordless flat irons, and I have a completely cordless airbrush machine that I use, so I can pretty much get my brides or anyone ready just about anywhere, as long as you're willing to, hang out in the wild. I assist the photographers and videographers during the day so that they're capturing all the moments, as opposed to, like wasting their time on setting up a picnic or, fluffing the dress or any of those other things. So essentially, I'm just your personal assistant and best friend for the day.
That is awesome. When I first found you, I was like, first off, I didn't even know it was a thing. And then when I started looking at your website and stuff, I was like, hold on, this girl is awesome. And I have found that there are a few people like you, but it's very far and in between. So I just thought it would be great to showcase that. So hairless flat iron, like, where did you even think to start looking for this stuff? The idea was like, hey, I want to jump into this industry. You just started researching everything, I assume.
So it was actually Dyson who came out with the first one, and it's a big boy, but it's really beautiful. And so you can literally just like turn it on. I don't know if it's charged right now, but yeah, turn it on and do it wherever. I bought this big guy and was super stoked about it. And then about a month later, my favorite hair company came out with this teeny tiny little one.
Wow.
So, yeah, I can intermix them, but totally different tools. And then when carrying them in a pack, I would prefer the smaller one.
Yeah, for sure, especially with you doing makeup as well, correct?
Yeah. So I'll carry that all up. But this is my makeup machine, my airbrush machine that I use on everyone. And so you would have a pod right here normally, and you would just shoot the airbrush in.
I'm sorry.
So really amazing.
I don't understand what you're talking about right now. Like, it's just so amazing. Like, you have these tools. Obviously, photographers have their tools, their camera they use, and lighting and everything. I don't know what airbrush thing you're talking about. Could you please explain to me?
So when I started in the bridal business, I really wanted to focus on airbrush. I feel like it's just a much more flawless skin looking type makeup. And it, you don't have that like feeling of cake. That drives me insane. So I started doing airbrush, and then I found Tempt 2, which is the airbrush machine and product that I use. And they had just released this cordless airbrush machine, like right when I came up with the Adventure Stylist package, and it just kind of felt like the world was like, yes, girl, do this. You can definitely do this. But in like a day-to-day makeup routine with a normal airbrush machine, you see those little pens that people like shoot, and it's got the cord that's connected to the box. Those were the traditional way of doing it, and like sometimes you hit the cord and your airbrush goes flying or your box goes flying. So even just like on a day-to-day, the cordless is so awesome. It's so convenient.
That's amazing. That sounds really, really cool. So given that it's airbrush makeup, do you still do, and this might sound like a dumb question, I'm sorry, do you still do like eyeshadow, or like how does that work?
So the crazy thing about the airbrush is I could literally do an entire face, like from concealer, foundation, blush, to eyes, to even lips. Granted, you need a little bit more of kind of like a relaxed style if you want to go do eyes with airbrush, but you can do everything with it, and the airbrush is waterproof.
That's amazing. Okay, yeah, that kind of brings me to my next question. So, I guess, do you have any advice for couples who are planning their wedding day look and like taking into consideration the weather in Colorado?
My vision for my brides is literally always whatever you're dreaming of, you're hiring me, your professional, to accomplish that for you. So whatever you're dreaming of, let me know, and then we'll figure out the steps in order to make sure that that is a realistic style or look for you. Say you're doing like a winter elopement and you want like everything down and it's going to be snowing on you. We might talk about, maybe pulling some of it up because it's going to fall or something. But realistically, I think it's your wedding day. Everything should be exactly what you dream it to be, exactly what you envision and want. It's just, it's your vendor's jobs to really prepare you for what is possible or how it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's why you're the expert in it. You know, you're coming in and making people's dreams come true. That's my favorite part about this all is making understanding that vision and taking it as a creative and really hounding in on what you vision and making their dream happen. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. You don't want it to be something like where they're thinking, "Oh, well my hair never holds a curl, so I don't want to do that on my wedding day." But, there's tools that make everything possible. There's so many products these days. It's not like we're back in the 80s where, they tell you to show up with dirty hair. Please don't do that, guys. Dirty hair is not your friend anymore.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that for you. I mean, honestly, the way that technology is just advancing in everything, I mean, this is completely off topic, but like AI, for example, so many people are scared of it, and it's just another tool to use. And I think that's the reason why people come to us as specialists is so that way, hey, you know exactly what you're doing. You've been doing your research on this industry. Can you help me? Like that is exactly why. So I'm so happy to hear that for you, that you're using those tools and moving forward and that the industry is just, pushing your business in the right direction. So that's
Yeah.
great.
And that's totally just where it started, cordless everything. Now I'm learning how to make my bags smaller. One of my first adventure elopements that was like an actual hike, I think I had a 50-pound pack for like I think it was a 1 mile hike with a 1500 elevation gain.
Ooh.
Maybe it was 2 miles, but it was so hard and I had like all of my gear. Um, and I remember like thinking, I can't do it like this every time. And then the next year I did Un Compadre with a bride. And it was kind of like the same thing, like, oh my gosh, I have to drop some of this stuff. So I've really learned how to condense everything down and, just bring the things that we're going to potentially need or want, or if we're going to do like a style change. I really like to encourage style changes on these hikes and stuff because it's fun. And if you're going to have me there, let's do something with it. Let's make it exciting, and however
Yeah.
I can help or like make it an even cooler, unique, special day for the couple.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. And this is just because personally I am a curly hair girl, and curly hair is very difficult for like different things, whether it's styling it, um, or just on a day-to-day basis. Like if it's humid outside, my hair is gonna be a mess. Like today, it was not a good hair day, so I have on a beanie. But obviously, when it comes to wedding day, I mean, what does that look like? Typically, when I style my hair in the mornings, I use a diffuser. I use the Dyson
Mhm.
diffuser. And I'm not sure if you've heard of the products, but I use Sense products. They're good products for my hair, and I've done my share of trial and error. So, what would you do on an elopement day if I'm like, hey, I really want to wear my hair natural, but I'm just worried because, the weather, and what if we get up there and it doesn't look good? How would you navigate a challenge like that?
So as far as naturally curly hair, I'm all for it. And yes, it is definitely something where it decides what it wants to do. A lot of the time, you're not deciding. So I would start with a really good prep on that, making sure the curls have a lot of moisture in them. You can do that with your styling products, like any leave-in. You can do that with oils. Obviously, your hair wants to be dry when you add oil because oil and water don't mix. And then as far as the styling, I just did a bride last year. She went to the sand dunes and she had the most beautiful natural curl. We did add some extensions that were also naturally curly. But what I would go through and do is get one of my like little tiny barrel irons and I would just pick apart the pieces of curls that aren't exactly perfect and we'd perfect them. And then of course you want to get your finishing products on those, your hairsprays or your waxes, kind of depending the unruliness of the curl. But then once we're up top, if anything's going crazy or wild on you, that's when I would have this small little guy. And so you can still do flat iron curls with the flat iron. So same thing, I would just use this little baby guy to perfect any of those little pieces that are going wild. Super curly hair, I would generally kind of suggest something that's going to have the hair around your face kind of off your face, because there, again, there's no way to really tame those unless you want to, every 10 minutes be perfecting and placing and all of that, which with curly
Yeah.
haired folks, it just doesn't really seem like that's something they're super interested. They
No.
kind of like the flowiness of it, the naturalness of it. So it's really about that base and then making sure you've got something, if there is a wild piece, where you can just kind of do a little something with it, do a little curl back so it wants to go away from the face. If it is not taming itself and it's just going wild, say we'd grab all this and we'd pull it back and maybe I'd just do like a nice little braid to hold it back.
I was just
Um,
gonna ask you, hey, I mean, I'm always down for a good braid, especially for something that feels like, I think like fairy tale-ish. Like I don't know if that makes any sense, but like a nice pretty braid going back and like the curls, like it just feels so nice. So incorporating braids with the curly hair is always great. So that's
oh,
fantastic.
yeah, braids, twists, any of those texture inducing elements are going to be awesome. And then you'll keep that movement from the curl. You're not going to lose it in that way. It'll give it some kind of control.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was fantastic. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I'm thinking about how I want it for my day. Just because that can be difficult. I myself want to have an elopement, and so if I'm going to be hiking on my elopement day, it would definitely be something where I'm like, okay, well, now it's actually the ceremony and I look a mess. And like, I could see how a bride would start to freak out, especially a curly hair bride who's like, okay, my hair's not even straight. It's just looking crazy now. So,
Yeah, like it can go almost into that fro status, which I would love. I would be so for that. But I don't have that curly of hair, so you always want what you don't have.
my hair when I was younger, I never wanted curly hair, and so I was always trying to straighten it. But the reason I didn't want it is because honestly, curly hair has a very difficult time with hair salons because they never cut my hair correctly, and I mean, I have trauma issues because of it. Like they cut my hair so horribly that my mom was like, "Please stop touching my daughter's hair. I need to take her somewhere else."
Yes,
So yeah,
curly
I'm
hair
not.
is
It's
it's a
it's
rough one.
yeah, yeah, it's a rough one, but nonetheless, I think it's great that you're able to be there and assist and help a bride like through that moment, because even though it's not like, oh, this is such a large wedding in front of so many people, like at the end of the day, you still want to look nice at your ceremony. So
Yeah, and I feel like especially with adventure elopements, you're looking for an experience, and it's not that you're looking to downgrade the experience that you have. You're just looking for a completely different situation of it all. So that was also the other big thing, like I don't want people to feel like they can't have a luxurious beauty experience just because they're hiking. Like that's nonsense. I'm the biggest believer in that. I'm a yin and yang on everything. I love doing hair and makeup, and I've been in the industry since 2010. But me, I don't do it a lot. I'm probably gonna throw my hair in a ponytail and put a little makeup on so I don't look totally trashy, but it's it's a special day and you're going to have photos to reflect that for the rest of your life. So why not have a beautiful experience and enjoy yourself and actually get to feel like, you are having a wedding even though it's outdoors and you're hiking and your whole entire family isn't there.
Yeah, but it's definitely such a beautiful key part to having that elopement day experience, and I think that's wonderful that you're able to create that for people.
Thank you. And then I didn't want to stop there. After probably like 3 elopements, I realized a lot of the time it is me just doing like little side tasks for everyone. And then even last year, I started driving my brides up to keep them separate from their fiancés so that they could actually have a first look. I've got a big old 6-inch lifted Jeep and I love to 4x4. So I've also taken a lot of the couples 4x4ing or led them. It's really just become this full thing, really all encompassed around what do you need from me that day of? I can take care of everything aesthetically, but what else? Give me a job.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great because I find myself I'm like telling my partner, "Hey, could you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. I got you. It's not a problem."
Yeah,
But having somebody who's like a part of, I mean, he still helps. He does Super 8. But like having somebody else who's a part of like the beauty industry and like being able to have a play in the part like this, it's a team. It's a dream team. And
yeah,
I'm working on a dream team because I've found so many amazing vendors like yourself and like private chef experiences, and like it's a whole day. Like it's just so beautiful. It's a whole experience. And I think a lot of people are looking at it like, oh, people are just eloping because it's so much cheaper, and like, who's going to want to go into all that debt and this, that, and the other. But it's an intentional experience that you can create for yourself. And I
exactly.
think a lot of people are seeing it
Yeah,
that way.
I don't think the couples are doing it because it's quote unquote cheaper.
Yeah, no,
I just
it's
don't
not
think.
cheaper. Depending on how
Yeah,
you look at it.
yeah. In all reality, you're still going to spend some money on it, but it's really, truly in valuing bride and groom are like, I don't even know what happened today. I feel like I didn't see anyone. I didn't feel like I got anything that I wanted out of it. And then when you see the elopements, everyone's calm and relaxed and they're having a great time. And the timeline isn't this massive stressor like it is on a wedding day.
Yeah. And that's my favorite part. I just had a couple that I was talking to yesterday on their consultation, and they were like, one thing I didn't like about my brother-in-law's wedding is that I was like, man, he's not even enjoying himself with us. He's just like on to the next thing and on to the next thing and on to the next thing. But that's the beauty of elopements. It's so slow and you can actually enjoy every single moment. It's amazing. And every single time it's beautiful. So
Yeah,
gosh.
it's like if you want to decide to do something else, my wonderful Ariel, who just commented, her and her wife almost jumped in a lake on their elopement day, and I was like, please do it, please, please.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, they ran out of time. They had to go to dinner still, and who wants to go to dinner sopping wet? But literally, we just decided, like in the middle of the day, Adam, the photographer, was like, there's this really cool lake. If you guys were interested, we could do a little dip. And I'm over here in the back, like, yes, yes, you should. You totally should. Your makeup's going to be fine, and I'll fix your hair.
I love that though, like the fact that you're there and you're able to say, "Go for it." Like I'm here to take care of your hair after. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. Like anything you want to do, do it. I did another adventure elopement, and I cut my bride's hair after her ceremony at a lake.
It's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it really, whatever you can think of as your own, person, whatever you want to do, like bring out the ideas and let's figure out how to make it happen. Like, let's do something unique or let's do something that is so you and your fiance that like no one has ever even thought of it. I feel like that's my whole point. Anything at all.
Yeah, anything goes. But I think that's elopements period. Anything goes, and that's not the same in the traditional wedding industry. It's very traditional. So you know, the cookie cutter is very, very much so still dominating that industry. But what is your favorite part about, I guess, either a favorite elopement experience or a favorite project that you've worked on in the past?
Oh, that is so hard because every single one has been so entirely different. Hiking Compadre was probably one of the wildest experiences that I never thought I'd get to do, like having a bride invite me. So I showed up the day before, we camped out, and then we left on side-bys at like 2 in the morning to get up to the trailhead. And then, my little brain, when they told me side by sides, I'm like, oh, we don't even have to hike. Right on, let's do it. Yeah, that was not true. I still had to hike. Um, but that was just so incredible. And again, doing a whole 14er with a couple and their photographer was like such a bonding experience that I'll never forget. The jumping in the lake at the grottos, that was really cool. That was so super cool. Um, I did a true 4x4 trail with a couple, and I really, really enjoyed that because, again, 4x4ing, that's just fun. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can pick a favorite one. Every single
Okay,
one
okay.
had,
Then if you could paint the day, the 2 a.m. day.
okay.
Paint for me that picture.
Okay, let's paint it in the way of, does bride want to get ready in the outdoors?
Um, well, what did she do in that instance?
And so it really depends. Some of my brides, because the makeup is waterproof, they don't necessarily mind hiking in the makeup. So those brides will go ahead and we'll get ready like in an indoor space. So we can do like the airbrush of, flying all over in crazy places. We can do lashes. Even in some instances, we've just done, minor things at the home. And then we head out to our trailhead. We do the hike. I'm going to carry whatever anyone needs me to carry. Our couple's going to go up, and we end up showing, usually when we do anything getting ready outdoors and it's like that early morning time, we're going to try and hit the sun rising maybe like an hour beforehand so that we can finish getting ready, make sure bride's in her dress, groom's in his outfit, or, whatever everyone needs to do to get set up. And then they're going to do their beautiful sunrise photos, and I'm going to be in there flipping dresses, making sure groom or bride looks amazing, doing everything I can. And then, the full-on photo shoot ensues from there for a good, usually at least like 2 hours. So somewhere at that point, when everyone's kind of ready to take a break, the sun is shining down on you like crazy. That's when we'll either do maybe like a style change, or we're changing location, or we're going to sit down and have breakfast. So I'm happy to set up a big old breakfast while everyone's doing photos. It really is just, I don't think I've ever had one that is even remotely the same.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. So, I mean, after that, they could go and jump into the lake and then jump right out, get their makeup done again or touched up, whatever, if it needs to, which it shouldn't
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
waterproof, get their
I'm
hair
like,
done.
I just tested with some of my friends, and I did their makeup and straight up poured water on their faces, and it really doesn't move. I mean, as long as you're not like going and just rubbing your eyes immediately afterwards, it's going to be there. So I'm going to be standing there with a towel to wrap you in.
That's awesome.
So we're going to figure out how we're going to dry your hair, or, if we just want to do some like really cool braids or a pretty updo, um, whatever we can decide. I have been searching for they're technically like barber blow dryers, but they aren't hot heat. The second they can come out with a cordless blow dryer, my world is going to be changed.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this year's the year. So let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Yes, yes, fingers crossed. Anybody, Dyson, GHD, all of you wonderful blow dryer people out there, cordless
I
blow
would
dryers, please.
definitely say you should send them an email and be like, "Hey, really need this. Sponsor me for it. You definitely should sponsor me." That would be great.
I'm not against it.
Yeah, because you said Dyson was the first one that came out with the what's it called? the
The
flat
cordless
iron.
board
Yeah.
iron, yeah.
So I definitely do that.
Oh,
But that's fantastic. I think this was just so amazing hearing what type of experience you add to the elopement day experience. That's amazing. And do you have any questions or anything else that they're like burning to share with everyone?
oh, I don't know. I mean, from a photographer standpoint, like, what else could someone offer you who has like the aesthetic skills and then just the all-around knowledge of adventure elopements? How else do you think artists like myself could help you all out?
From like the photography standpoint of you being there on the day,
Yeah, exactly. Because
I would
while
say
I'm there
honestly,
for my couples, I'm there for you too.
right. I would say everything that you mentioned in the picture you just painted for me is fantastic. Like one of the things that I'm like spending time like to go and run, I'm like, oh, can I touch your hair real quick? Like, give me just a second. And I'm like fixing up hair. Like, it's
Yeah, the
one
one
thing
piece
to be like
with like,
feet away and then like running back and fixing something, or oh,
mhm.
okay, the dress, I'm looking at it now and I need to go fix that. Knowing that I have a creative eye on the side to say, hey, I really got to go run and fix her hair. I know you probably didn't notice it. You were way too far back. Just you run and go grab that. Like that saves so much time. And then on top of that, like the editing process for me, like not having to be like, oh gosh, okay, let me fix that in post edit. It saves me so
Yeah,
much time. It saves me so much time. So I think that's fantastic that you're able to do that.
yeah.
Um, and on top of that, like the whole, oh, I'm gonna take the brides that way she can have her first look. Like that's amazing. That's first off, that's a great experience to be able to provide from a makeup artist and hairstylist. Like you are in their back pocket to help them like every step of the way. So I think that's fantastic. You're doing everything phenomenally. So
Thank you. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this, but I would consider myself everyone's bitch for the day.
oh my gosh. Well, I wouldn't call you that unless we were like really close,
No,
but
but it's a
not in
loving
that way.
joke.
But I can see how you're there to help every step of the way, and that's great. Have you as of yet been able to experience the, because I offer, sorry, I had way too many questions popping up in my head
Love
at one time.
that.
Okay, first question. I know that you mentioned that you set up, like, you don't mind setting up a breakfast in the morning. What does that look like? Is that a part of your package? Like, are you making breakfast, or are you like bringing breakfast, or like what? How does that
Usually
go?
that's gonna be like some of the caterers that you found who maybe do like a charcuterie box or something that they've brought up. I mean, I would love to make you all breakfast, but
Yeah, it's a
my
bit much.
morning, yeah, my morning already starts generally a lot earlier than everyone else, so I can't promise that, but like I'll set it all up. I'll get it all situated into a pretty situation where it's gonna photograph at least semi well.
Yeah.
I'm probably not a decorator's eye, but I've got some kind of design eye on here.
I personally set up picnics for my couples, so I'll like set up the charcuterie board and everything myself. Knowing that like someone is there to like help speed up that process is like amazing. So
Yeah,
that was part of my second question that I really didn't. All of it came to me at one time. Anyways, that's besides the point. I think that's awesome, especially just having the creative eye and being able to put that into action, not just on somebody's face or on their hair, but like in other key parts to the photography aspect of it all.
yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
Oh, and that's a good point. I'll remind all of us females, because as I'm sitting here hunching, looking at myself, I'm like, I'll remind you, girls up, shoulders back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like that's really important, especially for me. Like in photos that I've had people take pictures of me, I'm like, oh wait. I hold on, stop. Like I'll have to do it myself because I'll go and see the photo, and now I'm like, oh no, I can't be doing that. But knowing that somebody, my mom was there for my like graduation photos. She was that person for me to say, oh no, you're not standing correctly. Please stand up straight.
Yeah,
And
Abigail, come on.
no, seriously. So That's amazing. That's a key part to having you there. Have you by chance had to fix makeup like after eating at all? Well, actually, so
Never
the you said the lipstick also goes on with the airbrush, so you wouldn't have to either.
can do airbrush lipstick. I never have because personally I just don't feel like the colors are vast enough. But I do like lip stains and all that stuff. Really, anything that moves after eating, that's pretty easy. You know, we just add a little
Just a little
extra
quick touch up.
liner. So yeah, but like as far as the rest of the face, nothing's ever moved except one time when we got completely snowed on during our adventure elopement. And it's not that it necessarily like moved or anything. I just wanted it to be a little bit more perfected by the time we were done with our hike.
Yeah, you want it to be fresh and looking great. So that's awesome. That is true. I mean, who gosh, I can't shut up about you. Honestly,
Oh, thank
you
you.
were really great. Like I'm just thinking about like, my couple being out in a winter, like, a snowy winter a little bit and it's snowing and it looks so pretty and like I'm like gushing over the how beautiful the photos look, but then knowing that their makeup is going to be fresh right after and not having to worry about that. So
And my
gosh.
other secret little thing that I do, which everyone can totally steal, I always have a heater vest.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you know when the bride's like freezing in her amazing dress and she's like, I don't want to put my jacket on, I'm like, here, put the heater vest on real quick while you're waiting.
That is fantastic, especially just have that right in your pack and just throw in. That's great. I can't
Yeah,
tell.
like here, warm up.
I have yet to do a like snowy winter elopement as of right now, and so I'm super excited for that. But I'm like also in the back of my mind trying to prepare myself for how to navigate any situation, and you just gave me one of the best things that I think I could ask for. So thanks for that.
You are so welcome. They have like entire undershirts and leggings and socks that are all heated. So if you're a cold girl,
Yeah.
that stuff is the best.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much. This was so informative. Did you have any other questions I could answer or anything else you want to share? Or does anybody else, like anybody who's here right
Yeah.
now, if you have any questions, you just drop it. But if not, or as of right now, did you have anything else?
I think I'm pretty good. If anybody wanted to let me know on like ideas they had where I could, further increase what I can offer you all, by all means, please let me know. Otherwise, I just continue building this package on every single adventure elopement that I've gotten and all my brides that offer me ideas or what they envision for it. And I just continue to build a better and better service for everyone. So like I said, whatever you can dream of, you all just let me know.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to working with you in the future and we will be in touch.
Yeah.
But I think for now, then I will see you sometime soon.
All right. Well, it's so good to talk with you, Abigail. Thank you so much for inviting me on here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have had you. So I'll talk with you soon and bye for now.
All right. Bye.